So this is what just happened. The sin of the golden calf, the worst thing that any nation has ever done. 40 days after receiving the Torah, face-to-face, intimate relationship with Hashem, basically commit adultery, bam, destroyed everything. We said in last week's Parshat, this is why Moshe Rabbeinu is like the tzaddik, because he says to Hashem, why are you so upset by this? So what do you mean, why am I so upset by this? They just did the worst thing ever. Moshe basically pulls Am Yisrael out of this trouble, goes back up the mountain for 40 days, comes down on Yom Kippur, having received the second luchot, the new set of tablets, and the 13 midot harachamim. And we said last week, do you know what's amazing about Moshe? He basically created the 13 midot harachamim, because he said to Hashem, why are you so upset? Just find the good in them. Just look for the good. Just be compassionate, Hashem. And then Hashem says, I am now going to teach you my 13 midas harachamim, which suddenly just arrived. Yes, says all the holy Jewish masters, that Hashem responds to us. Says in Pirkei Avot, Da ma lemala mimcha, you should know what is above you. But the Baal Shem Tov and others say, Da ma lemala, know what is above, mimcha is from you. So Hashem is your shadow, Hashem tzilcha. How you act, Hashem responds. So Moshe acted with mercy, so Hashem mirrors that and acts with mercy. That's why we know that Hashem is Moshe backwards. That's what we said last week. And now he's come down the mountain, it's Yom Kippur. The next day starts our Parsha. Vayakhel Moshe et kol adas Bnei Yisrael. Moshe gathered together the whole of Am Yisrael. We have this very, very important theme in Jewish understanding, which is when the Jewish people get together, we're unstoppable and unbeatable. It's when we're arguing and judging each other and putting each other down, we become very, very vulnerable. So what you have to do is, after a terrible sin like we committed, you have to let's get back together. And this we've read just after Purim. Purim, remember, Esther says to Mordechai, Vayachanos et kol Bnei Yisrael, just gather together all the Jews. So there's a gathering together. And Moshe is like, pep talk, guys, let's get back in the game. We've got to get on the same page. And what does he say? Vayayim aleihem eile advarim asher tziva Hashem la'asot otam. This is what Hashem told us to do. And what does he say? How do you gather together the Jews? Sheishes yamim yele. Sheishes yamim ta'aseh malacha. Uviyam shvi'i yelechem kodesh Shabbos Shabbatayin LaHashem. Shabbos. It means for 6 days ta'aseh malacha. Now this in itself, I'm not going to speak about this today, but it's a very important idea. It doesn't say ta'aseh, do work. It says ta'aseh, work shall be done. For 6 days, work shall be done. So our sages teach us that not only is Shabbat a mitzvah, but the 6 days themselves, they're also a mitzvah. Hashem says work should be done on those days. But our sages point out, it doesn't say you should do work, it should be done. It is a mitzvah, but don't think it's the purpose. Don't think it's the point. But it's the time, the work should be done at that time. Do it. On the 7th day, but on the 7th day, it's going to be Shabbos. You have to understand. Don't belittle or undermine what I'm about to say. Shabbos is everything. Shabbos is everything. Everything is Shabbos. Shabbos is the Mekor HaBracha, is the source of all blessing. It's the source of all Kedusha. Shabbat Vayinafash, it says, which means Hashem blew the soul of time into creation through Shabbos. Friday night davening, we say, Tachlit Ma'aseh Shemayim Va'aretz. Shabbos is the whole purpose of creation. Without Shabbos, you're not alive. You're just not alive. You're a lovely person. I love you. You're the greatest. Wonderful. Be a great father, great son. Look after your family. Run an orphanage. Do everything. But without Shabbos, you're not in the game. In fact, someone who's called religious is called Shoma Shabbos. It's not called Shomer Tefillin, not called Shomer Matzah, not called Shomer Tzedakah. Shabbos, Shabbos, Shabbos. And what is Shabbos saying? Lishpot. Stop the melacha. Stop the work. Let's get together. Vayakhel. Let's come together around Shabbos. And understand, so we say that Shabbos is the pinnacle of the week. So you got Yom Revi'i, Yom Chamishi, Yom Shishi, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Shabbos is on top. And then Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's a kind of a come down, because you have to inhale and exhale. So we're inhaling Shabbos Kodesh, and we say we have a Neshama Yesera on Shabbos. We have extra breath, extra soul, extra spiritual potential on Shabbos. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is like the exhale. Okay, because you've got to exhale. But even the exhale is only for the purpose of the inhale. Wednesday morning, yesterday morning, you said the song of the day. In davening, you said the song of the day, L'chuna ranana. L'chuna ranana la Hashem, nani alatzo yesheno, nekama vanava, l'chuna ranana. Depending on what part of the world you're from. So that's the song of the day on Wednesday, because we're building up the energy of Shabbos coming in from Wednesday. And it's all about Shabbos. You've got to be yearning for Shabbos, looking forward to Shabbos. Shabbos is what makes you a Jew, it's what makes us a nation. Shabbos is everything. Everything we're doing is just to get to Shabbos. Some people think it's the other way around. Everything we're doing is my business and my this and all my stuff. And on Shabbos we can rest, take a breath, so we can keep going. No. Exactly lehefech. Opposite. The other way around. Your whole life, everything, Shabbos. Shabbos Kodesh. And we know Shabbos is called the Kala. Shabbos Kala. Lecha dodi likrat Kala. Come, my beloved, to greet the Kala. Shabbos is our soulmate of the Jewish people. The famous Midrash says that every day had a partner. Sunday had Wednesday. Monday, Thursday. Tuesday, Friday. How does that work? Very quickly. Sunday, Yom Rishon, created light. Yom Revi'i, the sun. Yom Sheni, the sea and the sky. Yom Chamishi, the birds and the fish. Yom Shlishi, the land. Yom Shishi, the animals and the people. That's how it works. And then Shabbos says to Hashem, whoa, where's my zivug? Where's my partner? Every day's got a partner. So he says, Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people. But Knesset Yisrael, it means the kanus, kol Yehudim, the collection. When we get together, that's your zivug, because just like Shabbos is alone, there isn't a day for it. Shabbos is a completely separate entity. Shabbos Kodesh is completely above and beyond reality. So too, the Jewish people are above and beyond. It's just a whole separate thing. So everything we're doing is all about Shabbos Kodesh. Shabbat, and we bring Shabbos into the week all the time. We're thinking about Shabbos. We have a mitzvah, Zachor et Yom HaShabbos L'Kadshay. You should remember the Shabbos day. When is that? All the time. Now, the main fulfilling of that is making Kiddush on Friday night, because we're Zachor, we're remembering Shabbos. But really, I say just say every day when you say Hayam Yom Rishon Shal Shabbos Kodesh. Every time you say, some people, even at the end of every class they give, they say Good Shabbos. Could be on a Tuesday. They'll be like Good Shabbos. Why would they do that? Because they're fulfilling a mitzvah from the Torah to remember Shabbos. Every time you say, wow, what are we doing for Shabbos? And you also got to ask, what's your personal relationship to Shabbos? What is Shabbos for you? Good food or Shabbos? I heard my friend Rav Yaakov Klein said that you go to a wedding. There's some people at the wedding and it's all about the shmorg. It's the food. That's what I'm known for. Other people they're more into, the dancing was nice. But some people it's all about the chuppah. And they're not checking their phone at the chuppah. They're at the chuppah. That's what the wedding is for me. I want to be at the chuppah. So what's Shabbos for you? Shabbos is the chuppah. Shabbos is when we're getting married. We're getting married to Shabbos. Shabbos is the kala, we're the chatan. But also we're getting married to Hashem. And in the Hashem relationship, Hashem is the chatan and we're the kala. Boy kala is basically, it's the day of zivug. It's the day of partnership. But if we're not together in ourselves, as Am Yisrael, Vayakhel, let's gather together, then we can't receive. It's the only thing that we say, Kabbalat Shabbat. Say Kabbalat Torah. Say Kabbalat Shabbat. Do you say Kabbalat Rosh Hashanah? No. Kabbalat Yom Kippur? Kabbalat Pesach? No. Kabbalat Yom Tov? No. Kabbalat Purim? No. Kabbalat Shabbat, we're receiving it. Something you have to be open to come and like receiving. It's coming down and you've got to be there. Shabbos Kodesh. So everything is all about Shabbos. This is how you fix the chet of the egel, of indirect worship. That's what Avodah Zarah is, basically. To say we're the opposite of Avodah Zarah. Shabbos is the opposite of Avodah Zarah, so much so that the Gemara says that someone who keeps Shabbos, they are forgiven for Avodah Zarah. That doesn't mean you can worship Avodah Zarah all week and then just keep Shabbos and can't do that. It means you start keeping Shabbos, anything else is okay, because once you keep Shabbos, Od Hilei Olam is a sign, it's a bris, it's a covenant, it's the marriage, it's the connection between us and Shabbos and Hashem. That's it. It's the yichud room. When you get married, you're going to get married to a beautiful Jewish woman. And you won't have touched her. You'll be standing under the chuppah with a woman you never touched. It's an amazing thing. And then together you'll walk to the yichud room. It will be the first time you're fully alone together. And you're going to get into that yichud room and you're going to look at each other and then you're going to say to her, hold on, I just want to check the sports results. And you're going to pull out your phone and you're going to be like, and the news, there was a siren, like, check the news. And I just got to get the paper. And you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. So that's why on Shabbos we don't read the newspaper and we don't check our phones, because it's the yichud room. We're having this personal, intimate relationship with Hashem. Why on earth would you check your emails in the yichud room? You crazy? That's a crazy thing to do. Now during the week, you got to check your emails. You got to get stuff down. Ta'aseh, it will just be done. You know, stuff with ta'aseh your mitzvahs. So this is what Rabbi Nachman says. Yom HaShvi'i. Shabbos isn't just this day of the week. That is the whole purpose of creation. And the purpose of creation being intimate relationship with Hashem, which you can have only really fully on Shabbos. Now, obviously, every Shachris, Mincha, and Mariv during the week is a bechina, is an aspect of Shabbos. And every mitzvah you do, and every bracha you make, everything's Shabbos just means becoming very present, lashevet, to sit down, to become present, yishuv adas, settle your mind. So Rabbi Nachman says this, Ika zvicha v'ashchita shel hayetzer hara v'chelotav she'oiskim lifboach v'lishchot b'nei adam ha'ika hu al yedei she'oiskim lachnis behem machshavot ra'ot. Unbelievable, Josh, no? It's life-changing. Yes. It means that the main weapon of the Yetzer Hara, of your negative force that is in you but is not part of you, but is affecting you like a disease, is to bring into your mind bad thoughts. That is what the Yetzer Hara is, basically. I don't go put bad thoughts in there. That's how they shecht us. That's how they take us down. Remember, our sages teach that you are just pure. You're pure, healthy, good, happy, calm, loving, connected. But then you have this power, this force, that throws all this stuff into your head. One of the main things that they do is taivat mammon, money. So Rabbi Nachman often speaks about three main taivas, which means physical cravings. One of them is physical intimacy, one of them is food, and one of them is money. And we can see that. That's the way of the world, that we have these cravings. So money, actually, the craving for money destroys your life in general. Because most people's whole life is completely driven by money. What's your career? We said this before. You say to a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're asking, what job do you want? What do you want to do when you grow up? You're asking, what job do you want? And when you meet someone at a party and you say, what do you do? You're asking what job they have. So that world has now become, your whole identity is what job you do. And therefore, how much money you have. And the more money you have, the stronger your sense of self is. So, you got a big house and a nice car, And the bigger the house and the nicer the car and the more money you have, the more you are successful. That's how you define success. Success in the Western world is money. That's it. My son's very successful means he's rich. That's what it means. Doesn't matter that his family is falling apart. Doesn't matter that he's depressed. He's very successful. So the yearning for money is destroying us. That's why Buddhism says don't have money. Buddhist monks don't touch money because they know this. You start seeing, oh, money gets me power as well. You also have the ego drives. So your ego wants power and money gives you power. Money is power. You can buy whatever you like. You can do whatever you want. With money, you can go, you do everything. Money is power. So really people don't actually want money. What they want is what they believe money can buy them, which is sense of self and power and happiness. But we don't really see that the richest people are even the happiest people in the world. So you're going to spend your whole life chasing something that even if you get it, doesn't really guarantee any real happiness. Now Judaism, very sweet, says you can have money, be very rich. There are lots of very rich, very religious Jews. But it's just the craving for money that is destroying your peace of mind. Craving and the need for it. And your thoughts and your mind are so... How much of your thinking do you think goes to what am I going to do? Your career. How am I going to make money? Probably quite in the Persian community in LA and in New York. That's it. Not only Persian. I don't know if you live Persian. You do Persian to me. Right? So, but that's it. Money. And your parents said to you, come on, get out of yeshiva, go and live in the real world. What do they mean? Go and make money. Money. It's all about money. So most people think about money a lot. Even, by the way, we actually say it's important to have a good job and be stable and make money. Because if you don't make money and you've got to raise a family, then you're going to be stressed all the time. It's terrible for shalom bayis if you can't make money. Lots of people are like, no, I'm in yeshiva and I'll just get married and we'll work it out. I'm like, I think you should work out how to pay your rent, actually. I think, no, Hashem will take care of it. I'm like, maybe. Only if you're a tzaddik. If you're a tzaddik and have that much emunah, then Hashem will take care of it. There's a famous story that a girl was dating a guy and the guy was pretty poor. And the girl's father went to interview the guy. And he said, what are you doing with your life? He goes, I'm learning Torah. He goes, but how are you going to pay the rent? And he said, Hashem will take care of it. He goes, no, but you've got education for your children. He said, Hashem will take care of it. How about mitzvahs, Shabbos, dinner? You've got to buy stuff. Where you get? And he kept saying, Hashem will take care of it. So the father of the girl goes home and his wife says, how was the prospective son-in-law? He said, he was actually quite nice, but he just thinks I'm Hashem. Hashem will take care of it. Because you don't die with half of your desire got. However much you want, if you get 100, you want 200. Very, very rarely will you find someone who says, you know what, I'm okay now. I'm talking about rich people. Because there's still something else they can have, and then their friend buys a private jet, and they're like, oh no, I've got to get myself a private jet. There's always more. Your taiva never goes. And all the more you have, the more you're lacking. It's amazing. And we see this practically because in general, the more privileged someone is, the less gratitude they have. In general. Orphans in Sri Lanka and India, lots of gratitude for every little thing. And therefore are quite content. Rich people, less gratitude. Expect more. Takes things for granted. Want more. So it destroys their life. They're not happier people. Because you have so many thoughts, and thoughts in general, they're going around in your head and they're being tangled into each other. You're having a one thought next door, how am I going to get into law school, and then from law school I could get there, and then I got to get this, and how am I going to pay this, and I could save some money, I could do this money. And then people just have no peace of mind. No peace of mind. And I think it's also suggesting that you become dishonest. To get money, I so need money, start stealing a little bit from your parents when you're younger or whatever. You start cutting corners and everyone else does it. So I can be dishonest in business because money, so stuff happens. Money destroys people, corrupts people. Good people become very corrupted by, I need to get money somewhere. And the Eitzah, the advice we have for this is, שפתאום יעמוד האדם וינוח ולשבות וישב ואל תעשה במחשבתו. As soon as you notice your mind overthinking, just stop. Say, stop. Now I've been teaching you lots of different ways to control your mind. Last week we spoke a bit about transforming negative thoughts to positive ones. So if you have a negative thought, feel good about that because you can transform it to, we said you should make the bad a throne for the good. So if you have craving for money, well, then you should surely have craving for tefillin and Hashem and spiritual things. That was the advice last week. And another piece of advice last week was just to get out of the way and let those thoughts go. Now he's saying something different. Piece of advice is just stop it. As soon as you become aware, and this is not just for money, any area of your life, you think about your ex-girlfriend again, you think about that speech you want to give someone, that they hurt you and you're going over and over and again, just suddenly stop. Just be like, no. Now, I used to do this. I just remembered at this moment, I used to tell people to go like this. Literally just to hit the head, bam. And just when they realize, oh my goodness, I'm thinking something useless again, or I'm overthinking again, just go like that, and that kind of wakes you up. And you're like, whoa. And I used to see students in the Beis Midrash, suddenly they were doing something, and they were like, they were very funny. And sometimes I do it to my students. I haven't done that for about 5 years, I just remembered. Next time I think you're overthinking, I'm going to go and smack you in the head. Bam! And you'll thank me for it, by the way. You'll thank me. You'll be like, oh, thank you, I was overthinking again. Stop thinking so much, but all you have to do is become aware and stop. So he's saying, lishbot, manuach, just stop doing it. V'zeh bechinas Shabbos, and this is like Shabbos. Shabbos is just stop. All week you're thinking about money, and you're thinking about stuff, and you're achieving, and you're accomplishing, and you're trying to get stuff and do stuff, but Shabbos comes in, and you're forced to stop. Nothing you can do. You can't turn on your phone, and you can't use your credit card, and you can't touch money. Basically, you're forced to get out of this world. You can't do it. You can't be involved. You can't look at a screen. You can't touch money. You can't travel. You can't go shopping. You can't do everything that you do. Stop. So he's saying you've got to have the bechina, the aspect of Shabbos in your own mind. When your own mind is overactive and trying to work things out and analyzing and actually not getting you anywhere, stop, Shabbos. Shabbos, come in now. Sorry, mind. Shabbos. Can't think about that anymore. שבתוך הטרדות והבלבולים הרעיונים הרבים מחשבות יבטל את עצמו לגמרי וינוח ישבות בבחינת Shabbos. So you got all this overthinking going on, you just got to stop your thoughts. We've run out of time, but we get the idea. Let's just finish. I'll just read the very last bit. זה בחינת Shabbos. This is what Shabbos is. שצריך האדם לזכור תמיד ולהמשיך על עצמו קדוש Shabbos. Therefore you have to remember and bring upon yourself the holiness of Shabbos even during the week, i.e. extricate yourself from this world and its overthinking and its overachieving just during the day. This is why I said, for example, Mincha is a type of Shabbos every day. Mincha, you're not touching your phone. I even empty my pockets. I don't have any muksa in my pockets during Mincha. My phone's outside, any money, pens, anything, I take it out. Shachris, Mincha, and Mariv, I'm muksa-less. Because I want to feel like I'm now not in this world. I'm now standing face to face with Hashem. Bechinas Shabbos, the aspect of now Shabbos. I'm resting from that world. And that's why we say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos peace. We can actually have some peace of mind. Once you settle your mind and you stop running around and chasing and achieving, then you can experience peace and you can have menucha, deep inner well-being. Within all of your stuff that's going on for you, just stop, take a few deep breaths, and that way you can free yourself from your negative thoughts, because now you can say, you know what, I'm actually in control now. So if your phone is in control of you but you keep Shabbos, you're forced to not use it. Or smokers. At first, it's very hard for smokers, but they can't smoke. There's just nothing you can do. So, the power of Shabbos mevatels, nullifies the power of your craving and your needing stuff. I know lots of people who gave up smoking because of Shabbos. They're like, if I can go for a day without smoking, for at first it was terrible. They spent the whole of Shabbos thinking about cigarette. When Shabbat's coming out, go! But after a while it was the opposite. The power of Shabbos overrode that mindless craving, and they didn't smoke anymore. But they just had edibles instead. Good Shabbos.